a dude like maybe 20 minutes away from where I live right now, and he's selling Operation Wolf for $300.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's really tempting. Really tempting. Like, but I feel like if I brought another arcade machine into this house, Carrie would literally might murder me. As I was saying before,
At a
Freddy, you
certain
missed out.
point,
Like I'm doing this whole pinball restoration thing right now, and you seriously can't walk on my fucking floor because there are parts.
Now, not to exclude you from anything, Freddy, but Dave, as like hardcore collectors such as us, you know, at a certain point, you do have to wonder: is it justifiable homicide if we bring more stuff into your house?
It might be. It was an act of defense on her part.
Yes, like at a certain point, it is like he was trying to suffocate me with comic books.
I love it. Would be awesome. Like my dead body's on the floor. I can see the scene. You know, the cops are talking to Carrie. They're like, "So what happened?" She's like, "Well, he got Operation Wolf for $300 and so bringing it in the house." And then the cop would just look at her and go, "Oh yeah, self-defense. Okay,
yeah,
have a good day, ma'am. Where do you want to put the body?"
Dawn would just have to show him the basement. Like he brought in the 49th long box.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Well, I mean, you know, I'm trying to downsize my comics. I've got like 15 long boxes I'm trying to get rid of.
You know, that's what's funny is like, I don't say it to like brag, but like when it's like even that, like when you say 15, I'm like, Jesus Christ, 15 long boxes. That is a lot of comics.
It is. It's a lot of fucking comics.
Like literally right on the opposing wall to me, I'm looking at 48 of them, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Mostly because happy birthday.
Happy birthday, brother.
That was a while back.
Mostly because I know I now have to figure out a way to organize them.
Yeah. The drawer boxes are awesome. I just have to say, if you're going to stack boxes on top of each other, and this isn't a commercial, like, if you have to stop boxes on top of each other, you pull them out like a fucking drawer, you know? And they look like a standard long box.
You have to take boxes on top of boxes.
Boxes on top
It's something
of boxes.
I mean, like, if the price was reasonable, it's something I'm probably going to have to invest in at some point.
Yeah. I mean, those are the only ones I've had up until, well, when they came out.
I don't want any judgment here because this has been a work in progress for weeks.
Okay.
And it is a mess right now. But this is what, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it looks like that comic book store you go to where the owner doesn't give a shit anymore.
It does. All right, is my camera back on me now?
Yeah. I'm probably going to use this, and you can just ignore the fact that the music isn't here yet.
Oh, I can sing it. It's the night of the comic.
It's like the Bee Gees cover version.
Comic. Hi, I'm Freddy, and welcome to Night of the Comic.
Welcome to the Quiet Storm.
So we're gonna sip our coffee today and talk about.
Actually, I already drank my coffee.
I wonder if anybody saw my text. Like,
I don't know. What are you doing?
Yeah,
right
what
now?
are you doing?
Just
Right
organizing your desktop?
Are you high?
You're showing literally everyone's telephone number
and text messages.
That says one of them just says piss.
That was from Amy. Piss.
I can tell you I did not get a text message that had Morrison Motel or whatever in it.
No, I didn't listen to
the hotel.
It was a secret. Whoops.
What can I help you with?
Murder everyone.
Freddy, we look unorganized right now.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. You want to know why that is?
Because we're punk rock. We're punk rock. This is the Punk Rock Podcast. Hey, look, it's Xavier and Dave.
Wow. I wonder if there's any naughty pictures in here. Oh, there's one.
All right, well, now that you've shown the Morrison... Oh, look at that fucking butts on a cake. Have you ever seen fart cakes or fart
Oh, cake farts.
Cake farts. Yeah.
That's funny. You should bring that up. Yeah.
Oh, what? You guys are into that?
No, no, but way back in the day on Night of the Living podcast, we kind of stumbled across cake farts and like talked about it a lot.
Who stumbles across cake farts?
Well, when
you don't stumble across someone farting on a cake.
I've been on the internet for 20 plus years and I have never even heard of
accidentally found fart cake farts.
Oh, there's my dog.
And his business or her business.
All right, Freddy, are you going to tell us about Morrison Hotel? It's been up on the screen for 20 minutes now.
Yeah, can I just say right now, there is, if you know me, the Doors are my favorite band of all time, period, right? So I also love comic books. And then all of a sudden you say, hey, Dave, there's a Doors comic book coming out to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Morrison Hotel. And you say, oh, that's not right. That seems to be completely against everything that the band said about. And, this is a band who doesn't offer the rights to their music to film and television. And at the same time, I get it. Like maybe, if it was done right. I mean, from what I understand, this isn't the further adventures of the Doors, and it's not fictitious. It's kind of a biocomic.
So they don't meet up with the Harlem Globetrotters at any point?
Oh, I wish they fucking did, though. It would be the most ridiculous shit ever.
One of them dunks on Ray Manzarek.
Yeah, and he just fucking gets transcendental. But it's published by a company I've never heard of. It's like Z2 Comics or something. You can do a standard or limited edition. The limited edition has a hardcover. I think it comes with a 12-inch picture disc of Morrison Hotel and maybe prints. The weird thing that it makes me even more apprehensive about this whole thing is they don't even advertise a single artist in the write-up for this comic or the solicits. They mentioned the writer is a girl named Leah something. I never heard of her, so I can't speak to her credentials. But they don't even give credit to this cover artist, nor any interior. But they say that it's filled with multiple. It's a multiple artist kind of deal. Like I think maybe even one page per artist, and they don't name a single one. So that makes me say that this is going to be a big ball of crap.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound very ethical to me.
Yeah.
Unless it's an Alan Smithy situation where they're like disavowed it, right?
Every single artist involved, we're just like, you're not putting my name in that?
Yeah.
No. And it says they involved the surviving members of the Doors to make this, which would be the drummer and the guitarist. So who knows? I can't say I endorse it, but maybe. I mean, I don't
know. It seems weird that I don't know how I feel about them not giving artists credits.
Yeah, it just seems odd, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. And the price gap is phenomenally different between the limited edition and the standard. The standard's $20. It's a graphic novel. I'm sorry, it's not just a comic, so it's I'm guessing it's at least 50 to 60 pages. The limited edition is $100. And to justify that price for a picture disc vinyl and a couple of prints that can't be any bigger than 12 by 12, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard.
I mean, the Doors do have that hardcore following that someone's going to buy it.
Which is me under any other circumstances, And I wonder if I can just get this for free because I work for their label.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Pull them strings,
more Doors
buddy.
trivia, because I know this about the Doors. Did you know that they have sold nothing less than 1 million records per year since 1968?
That doesn't shock me.
So I've gotten in arguments with people. They're like, "Oh, the Doors did you know the Doors are the first one-hit wonder band?" And these are obviously not fans. Then they'll say that to me, and I'll be like, "Well,
I'm not the biggest." I'm not the biggest fan of the Doors, but yeah. I know that's bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit. They got trapped within Light My Fire. That's what everyone knew them for. But if you just pick any year between 1968 and this year, just pick name a year, Jason.
1987.
$1 million. $1 million.
A million
sales.
copies.
Yeah,
Sold.
1 million copies.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
What about 1995?
No less than 1 million.
No less than 1 million?
Yes.
Have you guys ever heard that Bruce McCullough Doors fan song? Yeah.
I'm
really
a Doors
great.
fan, man.
Fantastic.
Viva la Doors. Xavier actually.
So you haven't read this.
What was that?
You didn't read this?
Read what?
The Morrison book?
No, I didn't. It's not out yet. It's pre-sales.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But if I see a physical copy, I'll look through it and then determine whether it's worth buying. But this is something I just can't go into. We've talked way too much about this.
Oh, I was reading this. You ready to be shocked? I was reading an EC comic. It was one of their outer space ones. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
But it was this alien that comes to Earth.
Yeah.
And he stole his dad's spaceship. And he crashed it on Earth. And now he's real sad and upset. He knows his dad's going to be mad at him. And he looks like this big reptile thing, you know?
Holy shit.
So he goes to this medieval village, and he's like, he interacts with the people there, and they think he's a monster, so like he accidentally kills some of them.
Yeah, right.
And he runs back into the woods. So eventually he's like, it's all from his perspective. He's telling the story.
Yeah.
And they bring him, he calls a long-haired pretty creature to him, which is a lady that they're trying to sacrifice. Yeah, they're going to sacrifice her to him. And he's trying to explain to her that he doesn't want to hurt her or anything. And she jumps off the cliff. Yeah. And kills herself. And then a guy comes and eventually chops off the alien's head.
Poor guy.
Knight does. And then the wraparound to this telling of the story is these archaeologists found this cube, and this is them reading his journal that was written on this cube, and they've figured out how to translate it, and so they understand what he was saying, and they realize that that's the dragon from St. George and the Dragon.
Wow, what a great story!
Isn't that a cool story?
Yeah, that's awesome.
How many pages was that?
Maybe 10.
Oh, that would make a great movie. I can't help but wonder if, like, the first half that you were describing felt very, I wonder if that was Joe Dante's influence for the Explorers at all.
Oh, yeah. Rolls Canardly?
Yeah, Rolls Canardly. Rolls down one hill, Canardly, get up the next.
That is one of my all-time favorite movies, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it is. Joe Dante, I think, is one of my favorite all-time directors. He's like untouchable. He's so good.
Really, really good.
Sad that he can't get work now because
he still makes
most of those old school horror guys can't.
Yeah, but they're just not required anymore. It's a different audience,
Mm-hmm.
That I am a dinosaur, and so are my heroes. But what a great story! Holy shit!
I guess we should. Shouldn't we mention that Jerry Conway link you posted there, Freddy?
Oh yeah.
Jerry Conway link. Oh yeah, yes.
Dead.
One day you'll start remembering comic book creator names.
Yeah, about the pushback.
Dead. Rest in peace.
What? What did you guys? What pushback and rest in peace? Jerry Conway is alive.
He's dead.
He posted the Black Lives Matter.
Let's have a moment of silence.
Yeah.
Dead.
He's dead though.
He's dead.
Jerry Conway is alive. He's doing great things with his life currently.
Rest in peace, Jerry Conway. Gone too soon.
Well, I was doing this to help promote his link. His
no, definitely.
No, he's dead. Never mind.
This is
what did you like most about him? What were when we look back at his life?
I liked it best when he died.
Yeah, that was.
There's going to be a time, probably in the near future, that we are doing an RIP Jerry Conway, and you're going to feel real salty.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just replay this episode.
This is like with the news. They record
when he does die, we're going to record it, and we're all going to do that. Dad, Dead.
So yeah, he was doing. You tell it, Jason. Since you
He did the thing we talked about on the Punisher skull conversation we had, where he made the tweet saying that he wanted to take the skull back and help it represent, like, justice. Which the whole debate is, did the Punisher skull ever represent justice? And I was a little bit curious, especially, like, what the hell does he mean by this? But he basically just made a bunch of T-shirts for Black Lives Matter, and yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab one of those.
I ordered one myself because they look awesome. I'm sure if you look up Jerry Conway GoFundMe Black Lives Matter, you can find it.
I want you to go fund me. Such an agreeable chuckle. Oh, you're right, Dave.
I don't know. After what, 5 or 6 years of knowing each other, I don't know. It's just yep. Dave wants me to have sex with him. I told Dave.
It's just one of those things.
Oh boy!
The sooner you accept it, the rest of your life will be better.
So let's just get this out of the way. All right. What? This comic right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you finally finished Pitt.
I finally finished Pitt. Everyone can sleep easier now.
The death of the saxophone playing president. Does he successfully kill him?
Here's the twist, all right? Okay. And I think I may have missed this in my first read through. No, it didn't cover it until this issue. So my point being, to recap briefly, Pitt, big powerful Hulk-like alien hybrid, in the 1990s. It was Great Dale Keown. So it's basically, like all the issues before this, it's just him fighting, his half-brothers and aliens that are trying to come to Earth. And then all of a sudden around issue 13, 14, I will tell you this. Dale Keown kicked up his writing ability. The story starts getting this is actually really well written and actually pretty interesting. Not to give it too many compliments, because he's not like he's the greatest writer, because he introduces characters every issue and then pretends that you should have known them this whole time. And it's well, you just introduced this character and now you're talking about them like they were so important to this entire comic series. So, as we've talked about, the reason I put this all together, it took him 7 years to put out 20 issues, which is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's why he lost so many readers.
Yeah.
So around issue 14 is when he starts that political stuff I told you I was talking about, where Timmy's grandpa starts making fun of America's electoral college, which, that's great. Make fun of it.
I actually agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
College is
but it's just out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
He'd never talked politics before this issue.
Right.
Oh, the other great twist is that I looked closer, and it's showing Bill Clinton's inauguration. That word. As they're saying this, and Timmy's grandpa is wearing a Ross Perot button.
Yeah.
Now, this issue that he does that in was published in 1996 or 97, so it was out of date.
Way
it was already
past Ross Perot.
It was
day. Yeah.
What?
Can I finish?
He died a year or two ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a year ago almost.
Who did the Saturday Night Live Ross Perot? It had to be
Dana Carvey.
Yeah, it had to been. Yeah, that was Dana Carvey.
Yeah, every role when he was on.
Finished.
So good.
So Dale Keown's brilliant technique, and I just realized this around these issues. All of a sudden, this character shows up out of nowhere. I won't go into that whole backstory, and tells Pitt, basically, because you're on Earth, you're attracting enemies to Earth. So as long as you're here, Earth is going to be under constant attack.
I love that theme.
Isn't that a cool idea?
Yeah, it's great.
So she sends him into basically, it's called the Shimmer Space, which is basically the Phantom Zone for DC people. It's just nothing. It's an ethereal plane of nothing.
Yep.
And she says, I'm going to send you in that. Who knows how long you're going to be in there, but we're going to keep you in there until they're off your tail.
Pretty sure the Shimmer Space was also a nightclub.
Probably.
Freddy goes there.
He's hovering in that. So he fast forwards 5 years. So basically, that's his way of making up all of his publication. Like
the bar is
lapses.
themed. It's Twilight movie themed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, Shimmer Space. I got you.
Yeah.
Shimmer Space.
All right, go on. Yep.
But so that was his way of getting around his publication mess ups. Is he's going to have Pitt hover in nothing for 5 years.
Great.
Isn't that brilliant?
Yeah, I guess so. Yes.
I'm going to do that every time I'm going to be late with anything. Sorry, I was in the Shimmer Space.
I was in the Shimmer Space.
So, just like I was just
going
saying,
to say that all the time now.
I have to go to Shimmer Space.
Guys, sorry I missed the show. I was in the Shimmer.
I was in the Shimmer Space.
I'm seriously going to text you that now.
So again, around these issues, he introduces this villain called Think Tank, which is just this guy with 3 brains. It's literally his ability is that he's a 3-brained bad guy.
Stacked on top of each other.
Think Tank.
Side by side. So
okay, because the way you did that gesture with your hand, it was like.
Well, I mean, it is bigger.
Like one of those sandwiches with all the deli meat in the middle. With its brains. Big old bell curve.
So he detects Pitt when he gets out of Shimmer Space. Like he gets pulled out of Shimmer Space.
Say Shimmer Space again. I dare you.
Shimmer Space. The bad guy Think Tank, he has some of Pitt's blood. He creates a Pitt-like monster to attack America. Shimmer Space.
Shimmer. David Shimmer Space.
He's my favorite friend.
So a Pitt-like monster is attacking America, right?
Yeah.
He selects a few random things. So then Bill Clinton assumes it's Pitt. So Bill Clinton sends the army after Pitt, and Pitt, being a Creed warrior, thinks, "Oh, it's on now. I'm going to go kill Bill Clinton because he attacked me."
Right.
So it was like all a big master plan that Think Tank put in motion because he knew Pitt.
And hence the name Think Tank.
Think Tank.
3
brains.
All right.
3 brains.
Yeah.
So you're ready for this big twist. There's 2 twists coming up.
It's actually kind of fun. The way you're laying this out is actually pretty fun.
Yeah. So here's the big one. Pitt kills Bill Clinton. He just punches him through his chest.
Yeah. He's dead. Yeah. He's human.
So I was like, automatically, I was like, okay, again, I don't know what Bill Clinton ever did to Dale Keown.
Do they literally call him Bill Clinton in the book?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. William J. Clinton. They specifically say that.
Because Marilyn Manson was forced to edit his Kill the President bite from the High End of Low record.
I didn't know that.
I'm just talking about censorship and you have the freedom of speech up until that point, right? You can't make a joke about it, right?
Yeah.
The question
you're right. That's actually a very good point. Like, I wonder how he did. Oh, okay. Wait. I'm sorry. Here's how he did. I didn't get to the other twist.
Question for Dave.
Yeah.
About the Marilyn Manson thing. Like, was it the label that asked them to cut it, or was it?
That's a good
if it was just the label, I could see them being like, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like I think through art, it's covered under parody that you can do that. It's not really considered a threat.
Oh yeah, because speaking of it to him again, Marilyn Manson recently posed with the severed head of what's our president's name again? Donald Trump. Yeah. He posed with a head of his once.
You tricked me into saying his name.
It was in a video. He made a whole video where he kills Donald Trump, right? And he's like covered in blood.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that. I didn't really get as big as you would expect.
Well, remember what happened to Kathy Griffin?
I think he was overshadowed by her. Yeah. But he did it before she did, actually.
Yeah. Actually,
anyway.
he was.
Yeah, so I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was the label that was just like, yo, you're not. Because it's just as controversial to have it and to have it edited, too.
Well, you got to, I guess, also... Well, this issue came out in 98, so Clinton was still president.
Yeah.
But I guess you could say comics were in their lowest point there. I mean, you had a bunch of shit getting dropped, so no one probably gave a shit.
That high watermark had rolled. The wave has rolled backwards. Yeah.
If those came out in 1991, that would be a different story.
Right. Or if Bill Clinton subscribed to it and he's like, Hillary, Something real disturbing in this month's funny books.
I think Dale Keown wants to kill me with a monster.
The Canadian Dale Keown.
With a monster.
Canadian.
I want that on a t-shirt. Jason, yeah.
Can we make those shirts? Can I design that shirt and we sell it like on Threadless or something? We can,
Yeah, we can, sure.
And whatever proceeds we get can go to the show.
So here's the funny. So he kills Bill Clinton.
Wait. I just want to say one thing about censorship too.
Please.
Since we're on the subject real quick. It's mind-blowing that Body Counts Cop Killer is still not available on iTunes or Spotify or anything.
Yeah, that is pretty stupid.
Is it?
Nope. You can get the record, but then the last track on the record is Ice-T talking about freedom of speech. And that song is completely eliminated.
It's weird because there are others, I guess maybe because it was popular.
Yeah, I don't know. And the record is still called Cop Killer.
Mm-hmm.
But the song is not on there. Erased
from also I cut out a huge part where the US Army's trying to kill Pitt.
Oh, you mentioned it. Yeah.
Well, they unthaw, actually, Dave, I think you would really like this issue. They unthaw a Captain America character. And it's again, Dale Keown gets very political with this. And in fact, you could even see he has the American flag colors, and the issue is called Ugly Americans. But
I'm sorry, am I way off base? He is
100% Canadian,
right? Isn't he?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So the twist is that it was a body double of Bill Clinton.
Oh.
But Pitt didn't know that. Pitt thinks he kills Clinton, so it cuts to Clinton. The next issue cuts to Clinton in a secret bunker, saying I think he bought it. He ain't gonna kill me now. A gun comes out from behind him, just blows Bill Clinton's brains out. And
what?
Yes, you're right. So they still kill Bill Clinton.
But who did?
Think tank, because he's we got to make this look real. So we can't have the real Bill Clinton showing up.
Yeah.
But then the other scene is it's Pitt hanging out on the front lawn of the White House. This whole team that I cut out because I don't want to take up this whole thing that he's hanging out with shows up, and they say, "Pitt, you got to get out of here." And he says, "Why? I am now the ruler of the United States." And they're like, "What?" And he said, I killed their leader, therefore I'm the leader."
Yeah, of course.
I have his powers now.
At first I was apprehensive. I was like, why would he deliberately, put his cherished character, his little baby, in the position to be someone else's pawn, and make him as gullible and just a contributor to someone else's plan. But if it makes his character the leader of the United States.
Well, so my only complaint then, that's really the big it's not the big resolution. Obviously, there are only 2 issues published after this.
Oh.
And
have you read them?
I have.
Okay.
The thing that makes me sad is Pitt just kind of ends. There's it doesn't have
it
an
doesn't
official
conclude?
ending. No, it does not conclude. It just you can tell he just stopped.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of subplots and stuff that just didn't ever get picked up.
Yeah.
The little kid Timmy. Remember Timmy?
Yeah.
So in the 5-year jump,
he's 37 now.
He's 37. No, that's not. But he is grown up, and he's a punk now. He's a juvenile delinquent.
Kind of like our podcast.
Yes.
Punk.
He's and he gets killed.
Oh.
This other character that again shows up and cuts his head off.
Whoops.
Whoa.
Then all of a sudden, because that was the other cliffhanger, I was like, "What the fuck?" When then all of a sudden,
St. George,
his head levitates, and he's just back alive. And one of the issues ends with him saying, "I know how to fight Pitt," implying that Timmy was now going to go kill Pitt.
Pitt. Yeah.
It never. That's the last you ever see.
Well, that sounds delightful. Well, there is a resurgence of fandom in his work now, right? He's doing that. He's going back to do Hulk with Peter David, right?
doing a Maestro series.
So maybe, maybe he'll do another Pitt. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, now that I've picked it up, like, I'm all about Pitt now.
Yeah.
And I just got that delivered.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Hulk vs. Pitt.
Give it a shot.
Never
read an issue.
No, I actually want to say I don't recommend that people who are listening rush out and spend tons of money to pick up Pitt comics.
I still want to get those trades if I can find them inexpensively.
They are. I will say at the end, I was like, you know what? I'm having fun reading this. But
yeah.
I also knew it was only 19 or 20 issues, so I knew I wasn't going to be sitting here reading 150 issues of it.
Yeah.
But Pitt has shown up in comics. Like in 2009, he did a crossover with the Darkness.
Oh.
Which I don't know anything about that character. I know it's spun out of Witchblade.
I thought you meant the band for a minute. I believe in a thing called love.
But didn't he do a Darkness book and stuff? Or is that what I'm thinking of? Is the 2009 crossover?
I think he, guest filled in on some things, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But
I've seen him draw it a lot.
It kind of makes me sad, because it's like, what happened to Pitt?
Yeah. Pitt's
at least do a one-shot or something.
Yeah. Why not? He's just incredibly slow, obviously.
Well, now this isn't, I don't think that this is personal information, but, a long time ago, I seem to remember you telling me and Justin that, he was smart with his money.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't like Rob Liefeld and bought Lamborghinis.
Yeah, I mean, again, the 90s people got rich in the 90s. It's just, what did they do with that money?
Yeah.
I thought you said that Dale was smart with it, and
yeah, he was just like, oh, I just sold over 1 million copies. I'm a multimillionaire now. What else do I have to do?
Yeah.
Where's my motivation to do another issue?
Because we said it before. He just a few years ago was doing, I think, Old Spice advertisements in Marvel Comics, where Luke Cage would fight the Absorbing Man, and now he's coming kind of dabbling here and there. Again, we talked about he did that last call with Peter David that you and me and Justin have talked about at great lengths, where it looked like the finished product looked so bad.
Yeah, and I can't. It's just igniting things. It's not necessarily an exact parallelism, but let's rewind the climate. Maybe, I don't know, 10 years ish, maybe less. Arthur Adams wasn't doing cover work like he is now. Arthur Adams has actually even done some interiors lately in the last few years. And his popularity has resurged as well. But prior to that, if you think okay, pick out a year, 2005 to 2010, Arthur Adams who? No one gave a fuck, right?
Yeah.
And the story I was told was that he was just randomly doing commissions here and there. People would, people like me, that still loved his work, we were just going to him for commissions. And he would get paid more doing an original piece of art as a commission than he would commercially doing even a cover for Marvel. Because, I can't speak to Arthur Adams's pay rate, but, you only get $500-600 for a cover. And if you do a commission, you're talking about thousands of dollars. So
it's funny you say that. I feel like a real idiot. Some comic artist, and I will say that when I saw his name, I wasn't fully aware of who he was. But he went on social media recently, and he flat out shared page rates and what he got paid for comics to kind of shut people up who were saying, oh, you work in comics, you got a lot of money.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, and he said he said, I think he said Marvel pays the most for covers.
Yeah.
But it's you said, $500 or $600. He said some of the, when you say indie publishers, lesser publishers like IDW and Dynamite, $150, $200.
Yep. Exactly. You're doing it.
DC did 3 or 4.
And then you know, we all like get pissy because the quality of art sucks, right? But think about it. If you're a comic book artist, you could bust that shit out. And you're not a writer. You're not a writer where you can write a single page in 15 minutes, right? And I'm not starting that war against artists and writers again.
No,
but
no.
I'm just saying, like, a writer can bust out a page in 15 minutes. A good artist can bust out a page in a day, right? I can't do that. And that's probably why I don't work in comics as much as I would like to, because I love comics.
You know what's funny, back in the early days of Marvel.
But I don't mean to stop you, but even then, if you were able to bust out a single page in a day,
keep saying bust out.
That means you get paid like $150 a day, you know?
One of the early things, like like when Kirby left Marvel, or basically said to Marvel, like, I need a little bit of a break. You know, Jack Kirby is, you know, obviously that's the whole topic, but generally speaking, is usually regarded as like the best comic artist ever.
Sure.
Like, people know his name. He's Jack friggin' Kirby.
Yeah.
He could do, I think they said at his most, like 7 pages a day.
That's bonkers. Yeah.
Especially when you look at the quality of his work too.
Yeah.
But the point is that's the top. That's the tippy top of the mountain you're talking about.
Sure.
You know, so other artists were coming in, and when they couldn't keep up with him, you know, Stanley would get pissed off. Again, I'm not paying you these rates.
Right.
You know, it's taking you this long to do 2 pages. Kirby can do 7 in a day.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't compare everyone to Jack friggin' Kirby.
Yeah, and then the big complaint amongst comic book artists is that despite inflation rates surrounding the entire world economy, comic book artists still get paid the same rates as they did in the early 1970s today, which is also like
actually, you know what?
Point of contention.
I remember back in the early 2000s, when Marvel started their Max line.
Yeah,
that's what introduced Alias and all that.
Yep.
They did a War Machine Max line. And it was a big deal at the time because it was, I think, a weekly comic, and it came out, and it was only a.
I'm on the radio. You have to come over here. You need some help with what? Sorry, guys. There's a 3-year-old in here demanding help.
Ilo needs help. Does he need help with his fire truck?
I think so. He's got a shark shirt on with fins.
Nice.
All right. Sorry, go on.
No, there was a comic artist who did War Machine. It was $1.50, and its name was Chuck Austin. That's the one, Freddy. His name was Chuck Austin, who also is very infamous because a lot of people regarded him as one of the worst comic writers of all time. But he also did art, and he did art for this comic, War Machine.
Yep.
And Joe Quesada, who was running Marvel at the time, was bragging in an interview, and he said Chuck Austin can do 10 pages a day. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. When you look at it, not that.
It shows.
It is horrible.
Yeah.
If you could look up the interior pages of that Freddy, that would be the good one to do.
And I you know, I hear some artists bragging that exact point, and saying, "Well, I bust out like 3 pages a day," and I look at their work and I'm like, "Well, it fucking shows."
What's that one?
And that's what I was getting back to before. Is like we all complain about the quality of work, you know, with artists, and we're like, "Oh, like Dale Keown comes back for that one shot, right?" And we're all like, "Oh, I was so excited about this, but the work isn't really all that great, you know? It's not what we see even on his normal covers now." And then we get this book, and it's just kind of like, well, there's a reason for that. He only got paid X amount of dollars and only had this much time, and he had to bust his balls to get just to get it done. And so that affects the quality, and that affects the industry. So it's like, how do we ultimately fix that? And I think it can be fixed in the indie world and self-publishing. And I think that's what the interiors look like. Casper the Friendly Ghost trying on sunglasses. But he has no reflection because he's a ghost.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Dave, because also I will say this Hulk vs. Pitt comic I got.
Yeah.
I've never read it. I was super pumped because it's written by Peter David and drawn by Dale Keown.
Yeah.
I looked through it and like the art looks like if Dale Keown was, it just looks like he wasn't trying. It looks like he may have been asleep.
Because he couldn't, like he didn't have the ability to try. And so I think what it is like, so how do we fix that? Well, we say, hey, Dale, we love Pitt still. And we want to see the book, we really want to see you come back and do amazing work. And take 3 years to do it, spend a month per page all day, like if you have the time, do it. And then that's how we get good work.
Just tell us,
and then you know what? I as a fan, I have no problem paying $10 for a single issue if it took the guy 3 years to make it.
Actually, you know what? I'll agree with that. There you go. I agree with that.
And in a word, I think I've said it on the show before. We all complain about the rising cost of comics,
Freddy,
and it all has to do with publishing and
there
physical
you go. I think
copy stuff.
That's an example right there. Freddy just found one of the interior pages. It may not be the best example, but it's slowly. Yep. Yep.
It looks like also, a pseudo anime thing. That looks like it was all computer generated. That's not.
It could be.
By hand.
Could be.
That's not real.
I was buying that series when it came out and flipped through it recently. Look at that right there.
That's pretty bad.
You wonder why you can do 10 pages a day.
It's the same panel.
There's also no dialogue on that.
Yeah.
Like I was flipping through the comics and I was like, that's because there's no story to this. Like it's just, I'm going to shoot now.
There's something overwhelmingly digital about those pages that I do not like and looks. Looks
look at it right there. He has reused the same. He has reused the 3 panels.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an easy page to do. And then you literally do a zoom. Did you ever buy those like there was one for Akira where they like not novelized but comicized actual screenshots from the actual anime.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen those before?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that. Like you draw one panel and then you zoom in on the face to make.
Oh yeah, panels. Yeah. That's the easy way to get through storytelling.
Yeah.
Hey, look! It's Night of the Comic.
It is. I had a little feedback that I was going to share at some point from.
Please.
Yeah. All right, we can do it now then. DC Diamond Split episode. Vegas says, interesting theory about why Superman and Batman are always beating each other up and having to explain it to the kids. Haha. Seems like that was just about every World's Finest cover during the 70s, except when they were in the process of killing Robin or Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, the World's Finest comics from back then. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like that's how they would get you to pick up the issue. Like, is this the one? Is this the one? And yes, also it is correct in that the covers always had one of those two dying. Like, is this the one where Jimmy Olsen, digs his own grave? There's a comic cover of that, like, where they're making Jimmy Olsen and Robin dig their own graves.
They should make a Jimmy Olsen side story that really digs deep into his private life, where he's involved in underground pornography, that Nick Cage movie. What's that Nick Cage movie?
8mm.
8mm, right? He's going into back alleys and looking at videos.
I mean, there are Jimmy Olsen comics, but they're quite wholesome and fun.
Yeah, I'd rather Jimmy Olsen.
It doesn't have to do with snuff films.
Yeah. All right, that's the end.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Anything? I don't know. I don't know what Freddy's doing. He's just.
Can you imagine being someone watching this screen? Hey, there's your comic.
Have you guys? Have you heard of this Crowded?
I have not.
No. This is going to be the next read I'm going to do for the show. It's
the art looks
here's the
nice.
description. 10 minutes in the future, the world runs on an economy of job shares and apps like Reaper, a platform for legal assassination. When the apparently average Charlie Ellison wakes up one day to find out she's the target of $1 million Reaper campaign, she hires Vita, the lowest rated bodyguard on the Defend app. Now, with all of Los Angeles hunting Charlie, she and Vita will have to figure out who wants her dead and why before the campaign's 30 days or their lives are over. from Eisner-nominated writer Christopher Siebla, Rostein, Ted Brandt.
I mean, I'm going to tell you right now that plot's awesome.
Yeah,
sounds cool.
They kind of
I like that. I like the first line that says 10 minutes into the future.
Yeah.
The Max Headroom live action TV show from the 80s took place 20 minutes into the future.
Yep. And that's so funny that you should say that. I think that's the thing that caught my attention. But they're in the third season of Westworld. There's a similar concept.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, with these apps. But I'm pretty jazzed to check this one out.
And robots that don't want to get banged anymore.
No, poor guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's more to life than just banging.
Banging, getting banged.
Yeah, like Pitt comics.
Comics.
Or banging Pitt.
I'm going to try to read this next time. Called Psychoblast.
Wow, that looks like a good time. Psychoblast.
It's a psychoblast.
It's a
I think I said this before, but yeah, as I've been saying recently on these episodes, I've been reading a lot of non-Marvel and DC stuff. Like trying to go back and rediscover some stuff I've overlooked.
Trying to get your groove back, like Stella.
Yeah.
I never lost my groove, buddy. But my comic shop that I've been shopping at for 30 years turns out is a treasure trove of this stuff. Because that's the stuff my guy was reading.
Yeah, that's what he bought those all back in the day, and they've been sitting there in his stockpile.
I literally pulled him out and he said, "Oh, no one's bought this in 30 years."
Yeah.
Why no one's bought this in 30 years? It's haunted.
I'll tell you about that story there sometime.
Kill a seal to make a better deal.
But it's funny, I had issue 4 back in like 1989. My aunt gave me issue 4 of Psychoblast, and I never read it because it was like I flipped through it and I was so young. I was like, "This is stupid. There's a bunch of dialogue in here, and there's no Spider-Man."
My aunt gave me issue 4 of Psychoblast.
Yes.
I don't know why that sentence is. It's like a sentence.
Can we make that a T-shirt too?
Yeah.
Can we make that? I would wear the fuck out of that T-shirt.
There are certain sentences.
I will literally wear that shirt every day of my life. And I'll tell you this, I wouldn't cut the sleeves off it either. I wouldn't cut the sleeves off of it.
You wouldn't?
I would not.
Can we take a moment to appreciate the singularity of that sentence and how that's the only time it's ever been or ever will be uttered?
Yes.
Other than the T-shirts that we're going to produce.
Other than the T-shirts.
And I have to say, I'm going to disagree with you, Jason, that I think that these shirts, anything that comes out of your mouth that goes on to a shirt, can only be produced without sleeves.
God damn it,
I think it would be sacrilegious to go in a different direction.
No, now the secret is, though, if they were produced without sleeves, they wouldn't look right. You got to cut them off.
Okay.
You get that frayed look.
So we can sell them with like a tag, you know?
Yes.
It's like
to get the full authenticity of this shirt.
This suggests that, in order to appropriately wear this garment,
they could have little dot lines on it.
Yeah.
Perforate.
And a diagram of scissors cutting, and then like a happy face. Once it's gone.
A sad face with sleeves.
how to fix this problem. And then you automatically lose your hair and grow a giant beard once the sleeves have been removed.
First off, I choose to shave my head.
You have such a good peak at the top of your head, Jason.
Dude, come on now, you're going to make me paranoid.
It's like Sasquatch.
It's just a good shape.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
What kind of shape I just want to ride my tongue all over.
That's one of the reasons why I did grow a beard, is because of my chin. My chin's a little bit too defined.
Oh, yeah?
I don't even know what your chin looks like.
Very few people do.
I do.
To me.
I don't know what he means, but I know what his chin looks like. You have a dimple in your chin, don't you?
I have a pretty good dimple in my chin, yeah.
I remember you shared, there was like a picture of you.
Yep.
That was going
around. Like Superman.
Yes! But a lot of there were.
I've seen that picture. I've
yeah, that's from like.
Yeah,
I think that was like from 2002.
Yeah.
People love that picture.
2003. I think that was the last. That was the last time I didn't have facial hair.
Yeah, and your hair is black as night.
Well, that was just spray. That was spray color.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay.
Because I was going as Superman. Yeah. So anyway, Ed, you want to talk about my chin more, or?
Yeah, Chinmore. Welcome to Chinmore Estates.
My name is David Chinmore.
And this is Shimmer Space.
Welcome to Shimmer Space. Hold on.
I'm the mayor of Shimmer Space, David Chinmore.
Oh boy, is Chinmore gated community for sure.
Hey, I re-signed up for Marvel Unlimited.
Oh yeah, I'm getting close to getting mine back. I think
I missed it too much. I was literally thinking about all these comics that I want to read that I don't want to go out and buy.
Yeah,
like the new Warriors. I've been wanting to read that.
I like there was a certain quality too. You're cracking me up this morning, and maybe I'm delusional or I don't know what's going on in my brain, but you're just like, New Warriors, been wanting to read that, and then you just kind of nodded your head the way when old men sit at the Cracker Barrel and are talking about.
What do you think I'm going to be doing when I'm sitting at the Cracker Barrel and I'm 75, 80 years old?
He's fulfilling our lack of affirmation after he says something. We're just vacantly staring at him, and so he has.
If I have one regret in my life, it's that I didn't read more of Mark Bagley's New Warrior series.
Oh,
they were the New Warriors.
Yeah, it's tough, It's tough when I'm trying to carry an episode with no one else talking.
Huh? We got anything else for this one, guys?
No.
Jason, anything, or is it time for me to pull out the chapstick?
Is that like all of a sudden like a new sign that the episode's over?
Just get a.
It's like the fat lady singing.
Fat dude uses chapstick. So.
All right. Well, then sure. All right. I guess we're done.
Yeah.
Oh, you seem upset about this.
Well, we missed all of Dave's. All the audience missed Dave's great sweepstakes winning stories.
I mean, you recorded some of it, right?
No, I don't have. We have to do a whole episode about. I said it's like a Charlie Bucket style upbringing, apparently, that Dave had for him and his mom, and they would share the same bed and sleep foot to head. And
I don't know if I can tell that the stories again with the same amount of enthusiasm.
Yeah, I know that's the issue. Like they almost got lost. They're almost lost to time now.
I speak so much better when I know that we're not recording.
Right. But I can tell you,
secretly record us.
Yeah.
You know what podcast listeners love the most is when you talk about how great all the stuff off the air was.
Yeah. They really like that. Maybe we should edit this out.
No, we'll wait until you've forgotten that you told us.
Yeah. That'll be tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
When I have to do this fucking art for this episode, I'm never going to remember what we even talked about. And truth be told, for those of you that aren't in the know, here's some behind the scenes info. Last episode we recorded last week, I don't know, 2 hours later, I had to text you guys and ask you what we talked about because I couldn't honestly remember anything that we talked.
If I didn't,
that's more of like a criticism of us and our content.
These are great sales pitches.
Yeah,
unmemorable, forgettable content. It's way better when they're not recording.
We will return probably sometime this week, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Why not? Thank you so much. And you guys won't hear the music because I'm doing everything in post this week.
Whoa.
Throw you off. But,
Mwah.
Nah.